Hey everyone, in this video, we're going to look at how the Clippers use the zone defense in Friday's win in Houston. This is probably my third or fourth video I've done on zone defense, so I'm sure you guys are getting annoyed, and you're also probably getting annoyed at this. There it is, big, large, red letters, zone. Let's get this puppy started. Kelly Olynyk's going to come over, he's going to slip the screen, Terrence Mann's going to tag him and walk him down. As the ball gets entered, Paul George digs off the weak side corner. He's going to get a deflection. Now the ball's going to go up to the top to Kenyon Martin Jr., who will beat DeMarcus Cousins off the dribble. But we're going to notice that Mann comes over as the help defender on the rotation. Does a really good job of playing help side defense and neglecting the shot at the rim. Kennard taps the ball away on a third opportunity here for Martin, and the Clippers get a rebound. Clippers ran a zone defense 31 times against Houston. And that's something they like to bring out every now and then. On this play, Olynyk is going to set a high screen against Terrence Mann that Mann is going to get over the top of. Olynyk then tries to re-screen, but what he ends up doing is popping and slipping out the other side to the wing. Mann does a great job of getting back to push Olynyk off the three-point line. When Kelly drives, look who's there to meet him, the big man, DeMarcus Cousins. And if you look to the weak side corner, Kenyon Martin Jr. is going to make the cut from here. As he cuts, Luke Kennard digs down, Kennard gets a deflection, and the Clippers get the steal and go the other way. This is a really smart, savvy defensive possession by the Clippers overall, especially by Zubac and Jackson. As we see, Jackson's going to be anchored here. He doesn't want the ball to get to Wood. You don't want that pass being made. Wood's going to reset at the nail, and as the ball works its way back around, Batum's going to jump to deter this pass to the nail where Wood is standing, and Jackson will then dig down to prevent that pass as well. You don't want the ball in a zone defense to get to the middle of the floor. That's where you can have problems. As the ball goes over into a handoff and they execute this, we're going to notice that Zubac is pointing for Batum to get out to the top shooter. He does. This is a decent look for Christian Wood. It's not a great look. He can make this, but it's a good contest. Another good defensive possession here. And we actually see the start up top. You want the ball on the perimeter on a zone. Jackson's pointing to George to kind of flare out a little bit more to the wing. Let's contain everything on the wings and not let it get to the middle of the floor. As the ball works its way around, we're going to notice where Jackson is now, and he's going to be able to close out to the top when the ball works its way back. Patterson's closing out to Olynyk on the wing. This is the kind of defensive rotations you need to make in a zone defense. George now has top responsibility in the zone. He's there. Ball swings. Amir Coffey is going to stunt, which is going to force John Wall to go into a shot. Paul George could have hurried over faster to contest this, but it's a poor three-point shooter, and it ends up in a miss by the Rockets. This is an interesting one because we're going to see that Zubac is the quarterback of the zone defense. He's pointing for Patterson to rotate out to the wing, which is where Christian Wood is. Patterson's going to get there. He's not going to allow Wood to blow by him because George is able to maintain containment and poke the ball loose. This is all good if you're the Clippers. You want everything contained above the arc. You don't want to allow dribble penetration. You don't want to allow the ball to get to the middle of the floor. That's the last thing you want as a zone defense, as I pointed out. Reggie Jackson's the key here because Reggie Jackson's not going to let Wall get middle, and he has to close out to the shooter up top. This is a long distance shot. It is not a shot that the Houston Rockets probably would have wanted, and they end up missing it here. If your team is on a string defensively, even in a zone, you're going to be tough to beat. Here, Wood is posting up against Terrence Mann. This is a mismatch Houston thinks they have in their advantage, but it doesn't turn out that way. Paul George is getting back screened against Kelly Olynyk, and the action starts here, and we end up seeing Reggie Jackson pointing. He's pointing at Paul George. He wants George to flare out to the wing to take Wall when the ball's given to him. As Wall comes down to look, Wood slips the screen, which means what? DeMarcus Cousins is the low man. He's got to rotate over and be on time. He does, takes the charge square in the chest. The Clippers force a turnover. You always have to be on your P's and Q's in a zone defense. At the end of the day, if the quality of shots that you're giving up are, one-handed runners and just really awkward shots, you're living with that. You're fine. High screen set against Coffey here. Wall's going to come downhill against the zone. Kennard's going to stunt over but doesn't want to give up the corner. This means that Cousins has to step up. He does. This is a tough shot for John Wall on the run, one-handed floater. It's a very tough shot. He misses it. The Clippers get the rebound and the stop. Out of all the zone defense plays, this is my favorite because you force a poor shooter into a poor shot. And we're going to see how Houston tries to run a little mini double drag here, starting with Martin against Coffey. When Wall spins over the top, It's going to run George right into the second screen being set by Wood. But George is going to get under and come out. When Wood pops, we're going to notice that Coffee comes over to deter him from this shot attempt. Swing to the wing. Batum stunts over. Recovers back to his own guy, Daniel House Jr. Allows House to be run off the three-point line, which has Cousins waiting. These are good rotations. Skip pass to the wing. Look who comes over to dig across, which is Luke Kennard. Doesn't get a pass to the corner shooter. It forces John Wall into a tough shot here. This is not John Wall's shot. He doesn't want this shot, and it's a miss. You got to have everyone on a string. Your low man has to be paying attention. We see that here. The ball could go to Kelly Olynyk at the nail. That's what Houston wants, but it's not available. The Clippers have done a great job all game of taking that pass away, and it's deterring Houston. When the ball goes to the wing, Kennard's going to stunt and force a pass away from the corner, which then forces the dribble drive to the middle of the floor. Cousins is the key defender. Why? Because we see that as the ball handler beats Coffee, Cousins has to be the guy who comes over to be the rim protector. He's going to slide over as Jae'Sean Tate goes up with the monster dunk attempt. Cousins prevents that, and the Clippers get yet another defensive stop out of the zone. You cannot have great individual defense without great team defense. It all starts on the team level. This is our final play, and as it starts, once again, Olynyk is near the nail. What's that mean? Cousins is going to have to step up when the ball goes to Olynyk, which means that Luke Kennard is going to be the low man, having to contain the cutter and anyone down low. Ball goes to Olynyk, everything unfolds as it does. Batum has to get back out to the top when the ball's swung to the top. This is a position that the Clippers are fine with. Nicholas Batum in one-on-one defense against a downhill driver. This is a great contest by Batum. The Clippers get another stop. Their zone defense was great.